anything that makes you feel unqualified, insufficient. Maybe you've been feeling that you don't have what it takes. Anything that makes you feel anything lower than what you actually are, anything that makes you feel terrible, horrible, anything that makes you feel that you can't do what you've been called to do, anything that stops you, anything that tries to hinder you from accomplishing your dreams and your purpose, I clearly believe that are attacks from the enemy, because it's the enemy who desires you to shift you, to change your direction, to change your orientation, to change your life in a negative way. It's the enemy who wants to affect you. It's the enemy who wants to defect you. It's the enemy who wants to bring the worst out of you. But I believe that if you're watching this video, it's because you need to be spoken to, and you need to be reminded of who you truly are. You need to be reminded of what you've been called to be and of who you are. And that's what I want to tell you today. If you feel unqualified, let me tell you something. You are qualified, because God qualifies not the perfect, but the willing. God chooses the one, not the one who has it all, but the one who's willing to surrender it all. God knows your heart. God knows what you're going through, but in the midst and in the middle of that, He is reminding you of who you are. We must live. You must live under the prophetic and not of the pathetic. It is time to live under the anointing and the power of God. You that you've been feeling a bit depressed, you that you've been feeling unqualified or insufficient, let me remind you of who you are. You are the son of God. You are that daughter of God that has been bought not with money, not with a credit card, not with the debit card, but with the precious blood, the life of Jesus Himself, that He decided to came and put His life on for you. So let me remind you once again of the value you have. You have so much value contained inside of you that has to be exposed, that has to be shown. You have so much shine. You have so much to give. You've been called with such a high expectancy and purpose to give and to flourish. So I just want to motivate you, and I want to tell you right now, it is time for you to be filled up and reminded of who you truly are, your identity placed on God, because only the enemy wants to affect your identity. Only the enemy wants to change your perspective, because he knows he can change your mind, your identity, and your destiny. But let me tell you today, you've been called, you've been chosen and predestined with such a purpose and such a power and such a personality that makes you unique. That smile, those eyes, that voice, that hair color, every single detail about you makes you unique and makes you who you are. So let me remind you, you are not defined by what you do. You are defined by what He's done. You are not defined by your failures. You are defined by His forgiveness. You are not defined for what you can do for God. You are defined for what He already did for you.